friends. This is another episode of the program Empire of Lies, in which we talk about manipulation and disinformation in the Russian media. Russia won, Europe vassals, Trump a reasonable partner. How Solovyov explains the world to viewers in Russia. On Sunday's broadcast, Vladimir Solovyov devoted most of the program to negotiations around Ukraine and the U.S. position. The main topic is security guarantees and the role of Donald Trump. The program demonstrates the style typical of Russian propaganda, a mixture of outright insults, invented sensations, and selective quotes from Western sources. European leaders as non-sovereign vassals. Solovyov claims that the heads of EU states have not been sovereign for a long time, and their mission in Washington was reduced to the role of curs who cluck next to Trump. Such rhetoric builds a familiar picture. Europe is a dependent object, unable to influence events. Trump as a partner, but not ours. The propagandist portrays Trump as a smart businessman who is impossible to fool. At the same time, it is emphasized that he remains an American politician and acts exclusively in the interests of the United States. This is an important emphasis. Russian TV carefully instills hope for a special relationship, but at the same time, prepares the audience for the fact that Trump may disappoint. There will be no truce. Russia has won. The studio quotes retired American military personnel who allegedly admit that the Russians have won, period. This technique creates the illusion of international recognition. The situation at the front is not discussed in detail. Real data on the progress of the war is replaced by emotional statements, insults instead of analysis. Macron becomes the object of fake ridicule. His wife is the actor Panin. Merz is presented as an idiot. And European politicians in general are people who should be studied by psychiatrists. This is a method of dehumanization, mockery instead of arguments, in order to reduce the viewer's trust in European leaders. Look at the national interests. Here is a clear and understandable instruction. What the Supreme Commander-in-Chief says and what corresponds to the national interests of Russia. We saw how they took the Europeans, I don't even know what to call them, but they cannot be called leaders because they do not represent their countries. They cannot be called representatives of sovereign countries because, as Vladimir Vladimirovich Saroy said, these countries have not been sovereign in the exact sense of the term for a long time, but they came, thinking that now they will be able to convince Trump. And Trump, then, is just a man of almost 80, a man who has been convincing everyone all his life, a man who perfectly masters the Japanese approach to playing golf, when it is important not to win against the right people. And now they bring him here and hope to swindle him, a very experienced New York businessman on McKin. Now, sign up. Internal weaknesses and militarization, an unusual touch, criticism of Russian air defense, and recognition of vulnerability to drone attacks. But instead of analyzing the reasons, there is a call to create an air defense Rubicon and turn Kaliningrad into a fortress. Even weakness is becoming a pretext for further militarization. You have been on the program Empire of Lies. See you soon.